Good evening and to you all, and many thanks to Bertula and to you all that are gonna take this time to listen what I'm saying. It's not so obvious nowadays. Since we will make a little experiment, a little time travel, they say that we are so used to combine thinking with images that we are not able anymore to think without PowerPoint presentation. So please try to follow me and to build your own internal images, because this will be an experiment. We will be traveling through, back and forth through knowledge and how knowledge was built and categorized in the past and nowadays. I will be not too long, don't worry, but I will take the time and sometimes I will read, because English is not my mother tongue, and because these are new thoughts also for me, and I want to feel how the audience reacts. Is it that too crazy or too weird, or is it just a vision that can be realized in some decades or maybe in some months? Let's see. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends, and all of you out there in the global community, as you probably already know, my name is Clara Mavellia, and I've been working for some years now to spread interaction between philosophy and economics, ethics and business. This was actually the reason why I founded the Cultural Entrepreneurship Institute in Berlin in March 2010. At our annual interdisciplinary conferences, we invite scientists, entrepreneurs, and people who have launched innovative companies or projects to talk about their work and present their ideas so they can inspire the audience. The conference has become a film set. We have the characters, the location, the cameraman, and so on. But only a small section of our audience is sitting in the hall. Most of them will watch the videos later on YouTube, sitting at their desk, or lying on their sofa at home, or in co-working spaces all around the world, and I will share them with their contacts and their contacts' contacts. Something very important is happening. That is what I want to talk about. When I was younger, and until I finished university, knowledge was ordered in clearly delineated categories. The hierarchies were clear too. In the age of industrialization, the CEO was at the top of the pyramid, and the woman who did the cleaning was at the bottom. Jobs came in pairs, the manager and his secretary, the doctor and his nurse, etc. The knowledge took place in the closed spaces that had been designed for that purpose. 20 years ago, young people still wanted to be lawyers or doctors, whereas today thousands are deciding to be social entrepreneurs. A global generation has grown up who want to set up companies to solve problems, not just to maximize profits. The formats for presenting knowledge have been as unchanging as rocks for a very long time. Introductions, reference work, lexicons, specialist journals, all the primary and secondary literature. The books were not revised for decades, and updating them was a painstaking process. You bought your encyclopedia and kept it all your life. As in the Bible, or in Diderot and D'Alembert, or Charles Darwin, knowledge was visualized as a tree, a two-dimensional image where information became increasingly specific and the branches didn't touch each other. In other words, communication always flowed in one direction, and only in one direction. The same applied to relations between people and the way they communicated. That has changed today. Today we know about the many bacteria that hold the tree of life together. and we prefer to talk about the web of life. The human body itself consists 90% of bacteria. The many different disciplines and fields of knowledge are extremely interdependent. Exchange and cooperation are the best way to work. The brain functions in a similar manner. In the old days, it was also divided into separate sections, responsible for emotions, behavior, or instincts. Nowadays, people agree that the brain is not made up of pigeonholes with different fields of competence. It is a network of neurons that are constantly interacting, and depending on how they connect, this networking can stabilize and develop. Networking is the key. Cogito ergo sum, cogitamus ergo sumus. The internet has changed the old patterns. Even now, something new is forming. The convergence of computing and human potential is on the way to generating collective intelligence, and soon a collective consciousness. The first step is to network millions of people all over the planet through social media, fora, blogs, etc. The second step builds on collaboration between scientists and scholars of different disciplines to solve problems, which means developing a huge creative force and at the same time activating many innovative minds working together to tackle the many unsolved issues facing our world, such as health, the climate, the economy, and the environment, solving them elegantly and triggering a second renaissance, this time on a far broader scale. 3 examples of this. The first example is the Polymath project. Tim Gowers is a very well-known mathematician at Cambridge University. He is so good that he has been awarded the Fields Medal, the supreme recognition for mathematicians. Through his blog, he spreads mathematical insights and insider knowledge. In January 2009, Gowers launched a social experiment. He picked out an important unresolved mathematical problem, a problem he really wanted to solve. Contrary to the usual practice, though, this time he didn't want to tackle the problem on his own or with a small group of colleagues, but publicly. He described the problem in his blog and invited everyone to join in. Gowers hoped that lots of heads would be better than one, that they would inspire each other with different expertise and perspectives, and that collectively they would be able to work more easily on a complex task. 7 hours after he opened his blog for mathematical debate, there was still no feedback. Then, one mathematician recommended an approach, and 15 minutes later, a lecturer in Arizona chipped in with an idea. On the next 37 days, 27 people posted 800 mathematical comments, and it all happened at breathtaking speed. After just 37 days, Gowers wrote that they had actually solved a far more complex theorem, and that the original task had in the end just been a special case of it. It's been one of the most exciting 6 weeks of my mathematical life, he added. There are currently about 12 Polymath or similar projects underway. The next examples, we skip it. Everything is on the website, you can read it. It will take now too far. But let us move to the question, why is online cooperation useful in solving mathematical problems, or all kinds of problems? Part of the answer is that even the best mathematician can learn a great deal from people with complementary knowledge and set off in direction they would never have spotted for themselves. Online tools create a space where this can happen, a short-term collective storehouse where ideas can quickly be taken up by many minds. What would have required a genius in the old days has become routine, and the science are exploding. The human genome was decoded in 2003, but perhaps even more important is the health map, which charts how and where individuals differ in their genetic code. This mapping is the result of combined efforts by many biologists across the planet. All this genetic information was stored as a GenBank in a single publicly accessible online database, a compilation by thousands of biologists. A similar method can be applied in all disciplines. With hundreds of thousands of scientists doing their bit, we can map the knowledge of the whole world, the structure of the universe, the world's climate, the world's oceans, human languages, and even all the species of life. And with the aid of the new technologies, we can lend all that knowledge significance. Neurons that fire together, they wire together, as neurologists have learned from the theory of Donald Hebb. So we are the global brain, networked and exponential. We should now tap the potential that lies in the network, open science, open energy systems, etc. We can define the human brain as the most complex aggregation of matter. But far more complex is the collective brain. Cogito ergo sum, I comprehend myself. Cogitamus ergo sumus, we comprehend ourselves as the human race. The network community can benefit from this, tap more potential, and more will be engendered by networking. All this can achieve far more than the Medici effect, as described by Franz Johansson at the Harvard Business School. When the Medici ruled Florence, they had enough money to be free of the emperor and of God. They brought the best artists in to make the city beautiful and to spread their fame throughout the world. The Renaissance in Florence provided optimum conditions for a genius like Da Vinci to develop. Following the same pattern and under the condition created by the web of life and the World Wide Web, a universal genius is taking shape in millions of parts. To make this happen, we need practical and theoretical wisdom. Like Homi Bhabha at the Harvard University says, let us work with ambivalence and contradiction and not seek at all costs to avoid them. I invite you to exclude nobody, not to take your cue from the clash of civilization, but to recognize simply that we are all neighbors. Like neurons, we humans are already linked in multiple ways by the internet. A declaration of interdependence is circulating there, and hundreds of thousands of people have recorded it on clips. Let us join together in creating ethical and political values for a global society in the spirit of humanism. This is the only way to build a good, fair global community worth living in for ourselves and for coming generations. On Professor Gauer's Polymath Project website, it says, "One Da Vinci changed the world. What could thousands do?" Thank you very much.
Procedure. We have two judges here today. Pia is unfortunately sick from this morning, and Ragnar, we don't know what's happening. But we will have two judges here, and it will be a simple evaluation and a few questions after in what sense this could benefit the society. And then we'll try to continue to work on this concept for the autumn and develop it over time. So you can have a small talk and then we can prepare with the first group.